media outlets have always had a certain political agenda. And I don't know if that's the issue here. I think the issue is us. I think 330 million people in the U.S., I think, are causing the division because the Democrats and Republicans, they want us to argue. Because if we didn't disagree with each other, there'd only be one party. And what party would that be? It wouldn't be Democrats or Republicans, right? If we agreed on things, there'd be nothing to divide us, to separate us on issues like healthcare, taxes, gun control, climate change, immigration, like all the big boys that we vote on. Not one topic do these fucking two jabroni parties agree on. Not one. That is by design, my friend. If you talk to either a Republican or a Democrat, they are going to have issues on both sides of the spectrum where, maybe it's healthcare, or we talked about, it could be gun control or immigration or whatever. One of those things we're going to agree on. But as a whole, you have to pick red or blue. And that's the division. That's where I wish there was a little bit more love to the middle. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen because there's no money to it. But when I say it's 330 million people that are fucking it up, I'm going to reference one of your posts where it was Trump talking about taxes. He was like getting questions on taxes. And you shared it and said, fuck this piece of shit, LOL, such a fucking child. I'd trade Charlie Kirk in a heartbeat for this asshole. So I'm not saying you're the reason there's division, but that doesn't help, bud. So hold on. Listen, first of all, very well said, because that is funny. However, that was posted on the 16th, of September.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Might be a little too soon for the Charlie Kirk thing.
I listen. Yeah, okay.
But this, again, I think is the problem, because I didn't look at the comments. I'm sure they're funny. But you might have people that agree with you and say LOL, and the people that don't. And the problem, I think, is you're letting, you, John, and everybody else on both sides, you're letting these folks drive a narrative that you're so convinced that Trump is an idiot. And whether he is or not, whether Biden is or not, whether Obama, he's the president, and you're not going to agree with everything he does. That's with every president. The fact that we don't get on board with the president and show the amount of respect, I think that's where the division is caused. Because now, whether it's Biden or Trump, you could see it with when Biden was president, all the conservative media and all these podcasters talking shit about Sleepy Joe Biden. And then now it's talking shit about Trump. If everyone just shut the fuck up for a second and just respected the president, there wouldn't be any news stories. If there was no social media, think about it in the 90s, right? Like, what would we do? It's 5 p.m. Instead of being on our phone, we'd go outside and play football. We wouldn't be home until the sunset.
Right.
There would be zero conversations.
Yes. Well,
hence,
especially back in the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
Kids.
But bro, but 90s, look at your parents. Were they sitting around a coffee table arguing with their friends about politics? No. It's because you're not getting fed these quick hits of dopamine of negativity and then getting fed on social media.
But you could also say, because again, I grew up in a very, very staunch right-wing conservative family who sent me to a Southern Baptist Christian school. You could also argue that the reason you didn't hear that happening when you were kids is because the people that were usually over at your house, maybe save a few, were probably in the same belief system or at least shared some of the same values or whatever that your parents did. So you didn't really hear it. Plus, again, you're a kid. You're not focused on listening to that stuff because as a child, usually, well, I'm not going to say this, that certain things don't affect children politically, but as a child, usually you've got other things to worry about, like play dates and video games and
the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, it was not as popular in the 90s for sure, but also how much were we really paying attention to?